On a cold spring evening in March 1944, a Dutch family sat huddled together in a cramped set of rooms hidden above a warehouse in Amsterdam. The war had dragged on for nearly 4 years. Food was scarce. Fear was constant. But on that night, the voice of a government official crackled over a forbidden radio, carrying a message meant for the whole nation, though it landed with particular force on the ears of a teenage girl listening in silence. That girl was Anne Frank. The man speaking was Gerrit Bolkestein, the Dutch Minister of Education, Arts, and Sciences, broadcasting from London, where the Dutch government had fled after the Nazi occupation. His words were not aimed at inspiring an uprising, nor at reporting on battles or politics. Instead, he called on ordinary citizens to preserve their experiences through letters, through journals, through simple stories of daily life, so that posterity might know what it truly felt like to live through these dark years. Anne Frank, of course, already had such a record. Her checkered red diary had been her confidant since the summer of 1942, when her family first went into hiding. But until that March evening, her writing was mostly personal, a way to make sense of fear, confinement, and adolescence behind locked doors. Hearing Bolkestein's broadcast changed that. Suddenly, Anne realized her diary might serve a larger purpose. She began editing, expanding, and reworking her entries, dreaming that one day her words might stand as a testament to all those who could not speak for themselves. Yet, without that broadcast, Anne's diary might have remained just a private notebook, tucked away in a drawer after the war. Instead, it became the most widely read personal account of the Holocaust, a voice for the voiceless, a diary that belongs to the world. But Bolkestein's appeal was never meant only for Anne Frank. It was meant for everyone. For farmers in the countryside who kept track of rations and weather. For children in schools that operated in secret. For mothers writing letters to sons forced into labor camps. For underground printers who risked death to circulate a few thousand words of forbidden news. He was asking ordinary people to become historians of their own lives, to bear witness in real time, before memory could be lost or reshaped. And that raises a question we cannot avoid today: are we any different? It is easy to imagine history as something that happened back then, locked in black and white photographs and brittle documents. But Bolkestein's words were not just for 1944. They speak to us now, in an age that will also be remembered, though we cannot yet say how. We live in times of disruption and crisis: pandemics, wars, disinformation, surveillance, rising authoritarianism, and rapid technological change. Like the Dutch in 1944, we too sense that the future will want to know what it felt like to live through this. What ordinary people saw, feared, and hoped for. The danger today is not silence but noise. In a world of billions of posts, tweets, and recordings, will anything endure? Will the record be curated, preserved, or will it vanish into a fog of algorithms, deleted servers, and fleeting distractions? Just as Bolkestein feared that valuable documents might be scattered and lost, we risk drowning in a sea of our own impermanence. So his challenge still stands. Keep a diary. Write letters. Save your thoughts in a form that can survive beyond the moment. Imagine someone, 50 or 100 years from now, trying to piece together what it meant to be alive in these years. What would they want to know? What would you want them to hear in your voice, unfiltered, unedited by governments or corporations or artificial intelligences? Anne Frank could not know that her diary would outlive her, that it would become one of the most powerful books of the 20th century. She only knew that she had been asked to bear witness, and she took that responsibility seriously. The same responsibility is now ours. What you are about to hear is a translated reenactment of the radio broadcast Anne Frank and her family heard in their secret annex on the 28th of March, 1944. It is not long, but its resonance is vast. Listen to the words of Gerrit Bolkestein and consider what they mean not only for a past that has already been written, but for a future that is waiting to be told. Here is the broadcast.
Countrymen, I have an announcement to make this evening on behalf of the Dutch government, which may perhaps be of less significance for us now, but will be of great importance for later generations. This decision concerns the collecting, editing, and publishing of historical material about the present years in our national life. It seems of great importance to me, and you will feel this as well, when I say that the struggle and suffering of our people since 10 May 1944 form a crisis period in the existence of our independent nation. A crisis period comparable only to the years of the revolt, when our independence was fought for on fundamental grounds. But how poorly we are informed about the 80 Years' War. How painfully noticeable it is, just to name one example, the sense of loss we feel at the absence of a diary from an ordinary citizen during the days of the siege and relief of Leiden. The government wishes to take measures so that the outside world and posterity will be better informed about our present struggle for freedom. With this in mind, it is considering the establishment of a national center where all the historical material concerning these years will be collected, edited, and published. A center from which source material and studies will appear in Dutch and in the principal other languages. I am thinking, for example, of a complete edition of all Dutch underground newspapers, of descriptions of the spiritual and material struggle of our people, both inside and outside the occupied territory, both in the Netherlands and in the overseas territories of the kingdom. Regarding the form in which the collecting and studying of this vast material can best be organized, the government wants to proceed cautiously. At its instruction, steps are being taken to bring together as soon as possible a commission of historical and archival experts, who will present proposals for this in the short term to the Minister of Education, Arts, and Sciences, concerning the ways in which this intended historical material can best be collected and published. For the composition of this commission, advice will be sought from institutions such as the Royal Academy of Sciences in its future composition. Many in the Netherlands are already busy collecting material that will be of great value for posterity. They are free, if they wish, to keep this material themselves until liberation. On the other hand, the danger cannot be ignored that much will be lost if everything remains scattered in private hands. Hopefully, countless among you will see that the best service will be rendered if the fruits of your work are brought together in one place. Therefore, I make an appeal to all listeners. You can now help us make this historical research into a great, truly national work. History is not only written on the basis of official documents and archival pieces. If posterity is to be able to gain a complete picture of what we as a people have had to endure during these years, then we need above all the simple documents of the individual. A diary, letters to family members, lecture notes, and printed materials as well. Only if we succeed in collecting much of such simple material will the full picture of our spiritual and material struggle during these years of oppression and our battle for liberation be conveyed to future generations. Those among you who possess such material will therefore render great service if they are willing to make it available, with due caution and care, to this national collection, this spiritual treasure. Already in London, material has been gathered. but we hope to find much more in the Netherlands itself. In this way, you will be able to make a contribution to the building of the national monument, in which the names of many thousands of men and women, who in these times have risen up for our national existence and our freedom, will be preserved as a living memory for posterity.
What you've just heard is more than a relic of wartime Europe. It is a reminder, spoken across 80 years, that history is not only written by generals and politicians. It is written by you. By the people who live through extraordinary times and find the courage, or sometimes just the quiet persistence, to record them. And Frank answered that call. She took the minister's words to heart and reshaped her diary with posterity in mind. She could not have known that she would never see liberation. She could not have known that her small book would survive, when so many voices did not. And yet, by writing, she gave us a gift beyond measure, an unfiltered glimpse into the human soul under the weight of oppression. But Bolkestein's broadcast was never meant for and alone. It was a message to an entire nation and, now, to us. His appeal echoes in our own century, when we too face uncertainties, upheavals, and moments that will one day be studied, misunderstood, debated, and perhaps even forgotten if we do not preserve them. We cannot rely on history to record itself. Diaries, letters, journals, personal reflections, these are not quaint artifacts of a bygone era. They are the raw material of memory. They are how the future will know what we truly felt, feared, and hoped for. So here is the invitation. Pick up a pen. Open a notebook. Begin today. You do not need to be a great writer. You do not need to think of yourself as important. The very ordinariness of your life, the things you see, the things you endure, the things you dream, may one day be the most precious record of all. We are living through history. The question is, will you leave behind a trace of your voice for those who come after? If Anne Frank's diary teaches us anything, it is that even the smallest voice, recorded in the humblest of notebooks, can outlast empires, wars, and tyrannies. So do as she did. Do as Bolkestein urged. Write. Preserve. Bear witness. Because one day, long after we are gone, someone will be searching for what it felt like to be alive right now. And they will be grateful that you took the time to tell them. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, where we will bring you new stories each week.